we have now Mike North, who is the CEO of Reallocate.org, and he has a discovery show on inventing the future, and I think he has a really cool talk for us. Mike?
Hello. I'm really excited to talk about the Internet of Things. I'm a mechanical engineer, a material scientist, and do all kinds of wild, crazy inventing. I thought I might start with kind of the most mundane example I can give of the Internet of Things, collectible trading cards. So I'm also the CTO of Nuco Toys, and we're connecting kids through cards.
There's a new way to unlock the magic within you. With collectible Nuco cards, you've got the key. Collect a Nuco and tap it to the screen to magically bring it to life. Tap a Nuco to run wild with exotic animals in Animal Planet Wildlands. Tap a Nuco to unleash the monsters and fight the forces of darkness in Monsterology. Tap a Nuco. Unlock the magic.
So what's interesting is, while these cards connect with an iPad or an iPhone, they connect kids. And we love the idea of connecting kids together through physical play patterns. And as an engineer, when you ask me about the Internet of Things, I really think of three things: sensors, actuators, and connecting them. And we've seen a bit on that, but I want to kind of expand our horizon a little bit on our sense of what actuators are and how we can communicate with people around us. So one day I literally cut the roof off of my BMW, put 8 fire cannons on it, 100 pounds of propane, hooked it up to a computer, and then went and did a little performance for a party. I was actually in downtown Santa Barbara in California. Some hijinks like this, I actually ended up getting my own discovery show called Prototype This, and it was all about inventing the future. Let's get some really brilliant people together, pull resources from industry and academia, come up with wild and crazy ideas, and then build it. So we'd make things like, well, the theme of cars continues. So cars that were remote controlled, but on the theme of sensors, we actually would hook ourselves up to all these sensors, turn the cars into these radio-controlled cars, so you can see it'll drive itself, and then do a demolition derby. All right? So now I'm sitting outside in this cockpit. It's monitoring my EEG, my galvanic skin response, my heart rate variability, and then it affects the performance of the vehicle. You can see here Joe, his headset's saying he's aggro. And so when Joe goes aggro, his car doesn't accelerate as fast. So he's in a worse off condition. It was kind of a positive feedback loop we were trying to reinforce. And there's my winning car there, El Norte. I know you're wondering what this is. This is a Waterslide Simulator. It's 30 foot tall, it spins, and you sit in the bottom of it, and it goes around. What's interesting, though, is it's computer controlled. So you actually sit down and design your own waterslide, and then it plays it back for you. So again, something that could connect to the internet. Here's a little video on it.
Joe starts down the virtual path. And as the simulator tilts and whirls, he's loving every minute of it.
Sounds like he's having fun? Yeah.
The simulator programming puts him through a series of 10 360-degree turns on a ride that lasts a full 3 minutes. Over 10 times as long as a traditional water slide.
Oh, he's just having a good old time in there.
And as the simulator completes its maiden voyage, Joe emerges unscathed, the inaugural rider of a thrillingly successful prototype.
It felt like the longest, fastest, craziest water slide ever.
So hopefully we're expanding. Yeah. It was truly amazing to ride the thing. A little scary because we did build it. So hopefully expanding the concept of the Internet of Things. Here's a bike. Now this bike was an anti-theft bike. So the idea was you could carry an RFID card in your back pocket, you sit on the bike, and it disarms it if you have that RFID card. Now if you don't have that, then there's a series of countermeasures that ensue, which then deters the thief.
The steering locks, the rear brake triggers, and Tim's shoes are taken prisoner.
Oh, oh, oh! Something there goes! Oh, oh, oh! Something there goes! Oh, oh! Something there goes! Oh, something there goes!
Oh, that was our stunt guy, Tim. I'd like to say that's the worst thing that we ever did to Tim, but I think this one was actually probably a little worse.
3, 2, 1.
So this was the personal airbag. The concept is simple. You wear it around, and then it senses when you fall, and when you fall, it inflates around you. It's a little scary to wear, but you would fall from about 3 feet. It'd say, okay, that's not stepping down, and then all of a sudden it would deploy around you. Funny story, it worked the first time really well. It worked so well that the producers of the show said, great, let's get rid of the safety gear. And so then the stunt coordinator said, sure, okay, but we have to do it from lower. And I'm sitting here going, engineer, like, okay, 3 feet to deploy, another 3 feet for it to inflate. So we put him up on this rig and start raising poor Tim up to his doom. And it gets to about 7 feet, and the stunt coordinator says, no, you can't go any higher, it's not safe. And I'm going, you have to go higher. You have to go higher. And I end up losing the argument because I'm just a stupid Ph.D. engineer. Stunt coordinator wins, and of course, what happens to Tim? He jumps, he lands, it inflates, he gets thrown back. Just one more time.
2, 1.
It was a pretty cool thing. Almost as cool as 10-foot-tall boxing robots. So these were actually really, they would just mimic what you're doing. So in your boxing gloves, you would have accelerometers, and then on your back, you would have an optical glyph. And so now, through a camera and the accelerometers, we can track your movements, and then the robots basically do what you do. You battle it out in the ring against each other.
The team is making huge fighting robots that mimic a human player's movements in the boxing ring. And in less than a week, these two automatons are scheduled to beat each other back to the scrap heap in a title bout. Round 2 begins, and it's Melissa's turn to come out swinging. Now the pneumatic giants become killing machines.
Yeah, they were pretty awesome. So part of what we made was make killing machines, and then on the other hand, we made life-saving machines. So we all see the drones, and I've been doing a lot of work with drones recently. This was an early one. The concept behind this is you would be swimming in the ocean, and you'd wear a little wristwatch that had GPS and a little transmitter in it. And if you got into trouble, you could poke the button, and then the plane would autonomously take off and then fly to you and deliver a life vest.
Joe's exact coordinates are fed into the autopilot system that only days ago sent the plane to ruin. And the autopilot delivers a flight plan to the plane as it soars above, sending it right to Joe's location.
Practically right over my head!
The drone automatically drops the inflatable life vest.
Yeah! Incredible!
Just a few feet from an out-of-breath Joe, definitely within swimming distance.
Swimming to it now, we have rescue!
And definitely a working life-saving device.
So life-saving's good. You probably recognize this. This is actually the prototype for the Google car. We had it on the show to deliver a pizza. Good use of the Google car. and actually shut down the Bay Bridge in San Francisco so that we could drive it. One thing that I think is interesting about this is it's freed us up, so we have some time now. So we can sit in our car and we can imagine relaxing and reading a book. And it makes me think of something else. The fact that this man can sit here and relax and read a book because he has another sensor and actuator there that's making it possible for him. Well, we have to think back to a long time ago to realize what it is. Yes, this pooch here has this great nose that's sniffing and acting as a guard dog, and is ready to protect him. And when you think about the old days, well, that wasn't the case, and we didn't have this kind of leisure in our lives. And so it's almost that the dog is our sensor that we outsource to. And of course, we've lost our olfactory in our co-development. So that's a sensor. So I'd like to kind of switch gears a little bit and go through a little bit of history on this. I think it's interesting. You know, in the old days, we ran around with sticks, and we had to hunt and gather, food, and we didn't have a lot of free time. And then we became agrarian. So then we could actually grow food, store it up, and that freed us up to do things like, draw this painting here. And then we move on into the Industrial Revolution, and I'm an engineer, not a history buff, so don't criticize. But we moved into the Industrial Revolution, and that freed us up with a lot more time and a lot better equipment for a lot more food. So then, with this free time, what ended up happening? Some smart dudes got together, they invented the transistor, transistor became a computer, and then so forth and so on. And so now we're in this age of inventing things. All sorts of things, washer and dryers and cameras and printers, stove, tea kettles, and so forth and so on. And so what do all these things connect with? Anyone? They all actually connect with me. These are devices. And although they are also internet enabled, they are connecting with me. And so I'd like to argue that this world of all these things connecting together, Internet of Things, they're still consumer-based, and they still revolve around us and what we do. And largely we connect through these magical little devices in our pockets, right? And through them, we can learn a lot about ourselves. So we can learn what we're typing, we can learn what we're saying, we can learn what we're reading, we can learn what we're eating, what we're buying, what we're drawing, who we're talking to, we're learning about our health. So a massive amount of data, what we're doing with our days, what's going on with our banking, what's going on with our stocks. We even can tell what stars we're looking at, where our friends are and who we're talking to. So it's a massive amount of data. We learn about our fitness. And we've seen this a million times. I want to show something that we haven't seen. So now we're actually monitoring what our muscles are doing. We're taking the impulses from our muscles. Are we going to get to what we're thinking? Well, we've seen a little bit on that, but here's an installation by Philip Beasley. Now we're actually monitoring our EEG, and so we're able to take in that data as well. So we have all this data, and now we have all this processing. So now we can really process it and do something with it, and we can deliver to us what it is that we really want, what it is that we want to read, where it is that we're going, what we should be wearing, what we should be checking out, what we should be eating, who we should be meeting, so forth and so on. And I'm preaching to the choir here. You plug this into all the social media, and something happens. All of a sudden, we've really put a lot of our lives up there and really outsourced it. So what happens when you combine these devices that take all this data and you combine it with massive, massive processing is all of a sudden, we're back kind of to this state. It's kind of like the dog or the Industrial Revolution. We have a lot of time, and we have time to do other things. So question is, what do we do with that time? Before, what we did with that time is we were in a quest to improve the quality of our lives, to live a more luxurious life. But I would say that we've hit a point where we're actually living quite luxurious. And what does all this money actually get us? If you look at the statistics, increasing the per-person GDP does not actually increase happiness. if you look at this plot, Indonesia and India sit at the top while they have a very low per capita GDP. So if we're not going to improve our luxury because we've achieved it, what are we going to do with this time? Are we going to sit and watch TV shows about guys making boxing robots? Or we're going to do something meaningful. We all saw Scott Harrison's talk on Tuesday, and you see he's gone out and he's done something with his life that's become incredibly fulfilling, completely amazing. And there's other issues out there. It's not just water. If you look at the world's population, 3 billion people cook over an open fire. And this not only affects their lives, but also affects us. 20% of greenhouse gases come from this. So there's a lot of issues out in the world. So maybe we shouldn't be building Waterslide simulators. Maybe we should take all the people that we put together on that and do something a little bit more meaningful for the world. And so this is why I founded my nonprofit, Reallocate. And Reallocate is about reallocating abundant resources in one place to help in others. And that's largely skilled, talented people like you in this room that really want to do something meaningful with these skills and really plug in and help out. So I want to give a little bit of my story, just kind of my path and what I've done to reallocate my time. Every year there are 200,000 kids born with clubfoot, and 80% of those cases are in developing countries where they can't afford the treatment that's necessary. So the Miracle Brace project started when I was approached by the Miracle Feet Foundation, their goal being to treat kids with clubfoot. And what they needed was a low-cost brace. It's essential in the treatment process. So Reallocate's bringing together a consortium of corporate partners and individuals that are donating their time to redesign this brace and make it possible so that kids can walk. Our partners are helping with the software, with Autodesk. Partners are helping with the 3D printing, with Objet. They're helping with the facilities to make this all possible here at Tech Shop. So it's really a group effort to try to make a difference in the world. When you're working in teams, communication is everything. And being able to sit around the computer and really visualize a design and communicate all the different aspects to each other is critical. When you want to communicate with the outside world, well, there's no substitute for putting a looks like, works like prototype in their hands and then getting their feedback. So what we do is we create a 3D model in Inventor where the designers all come to agreement on what it should look like, and then we take that file and then we send it out to Objet, and then they can actually grow us exact replica of the model. And then we can just ship that out to the doctors and then get feedback from them. On this project, by the time we're done, we'll probably have gone through a baker's dozen's worth of different iterations. In this way, we're very quickly able to arrive at a very innovative and new solution that'll be low cost and still work. Working on this project, redesigning this brace, and that's been largely in a vacuum, and it wasn't until I went to Nicaragua that I was actually there with the end user. I mean, even when that kid was crying when he first came in and then put the brace on him and stopped crying, you kind of realized the complete impact right there. That's when it fully hit me of the meaning of this project and how we were actually affecting lives. Going to Nicaragua was one of the most magical experiences of my life. You know what? Thank you. Harvard did a study on what happens when you give. And when you give, it fires endorphins beyond what you can imagine. And giving money is one thing, but money is so impersonal, and it's such a transient thing to you. But when you give something that you hold most dear, your talents, your skill, your education, what you've cultivated your whole life, when you give that, it'll forever change you. And as much as this is about us helping the world, this is about us helping ourselves. Because the ability, the opportunity to work on something so meaningful brings whole new meaning to your lives. And so it's something that I encourage you to try out. You can do it in your local community, or you can join up with Reallocate. Encourage your company to do it as well. Encourage them to get involved, to use what your company's skills are. And as you're developing all this amazing technology, keep this in mind. Keep in mind the global community and how we all affect each other. Thank you.